Welcome back to another episode of Straight to the Point. And in this one, I'm going to be taking you through a subject that, to be fair, has been frustrating me a lot when it comes to a lot of the feedback and a lot of the things that I've been hearing. And that is all around direct messaging. Now, I've got a few things that I'm going to be talking about, my opinions, my views, what works, what doesn't. I'm also going to be sharing with you, for those of you who are watching the video, kind of like the results that we get from it, because I think there's lots of talk out there, there's lots of opinions out there, but I don't really see people backing it up. And so this episode, I am going to be sharing my thoughts, my opinions, but I'm also going to back them up and give you the evidence that you're all after to understand what works and what doesn't. And this wasn't really a planned recording, really. This was something that has happened off the back of some feedback that I've been receiving. We run campaigns every single day on platforms like LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. And it is the one part of our lead generation machine, if that's what you want to call it, that works every day without fail. It's something that's worked for years for us. And so when I see people talking and sharing their views that it doesn't work, it's a waste of time, I sit there and I question kind of what it is that they're doing. What is their approach? Because the results are unquestionable, really, when you get this right. And I think there's some things that you need to make sure that you've got in place. There's some things that you need to make sure that you're doing. There's some approaches and, I guess, psychology that you've got to apply to start getting these results. But I'm a bit fed up of people putting people off from sending messages, because platforms like LinkedIn, they're networking platforms, right? They're literally so we can communicate with each other. And it seems to be that there's lots of people that are afraid to promote what it is that they do in fear of being judged, being hated, or just getting any form of stick. And the aim of this video is to remove all of that. I want you, by the end of this video, by the end of this podcast, to feel like you can go out there and shout from the rooftops about how great you are and what you do, because that is the only way to win on social. You look at the best creators out there, you look at the biggest businesses out there, the one thing that they are not afraid of is talking about and sharing what it is that they do and the impact they have. And so what I'm going to do, just before I go into the content of this, I'm going to share what it is that we do, right? So newsflash here, yes, we do automate. We are not sitting there sending messages every single day. That is not what we're about. That is not what we do. This is about removing yourself as a bottleneck from your own business development journey, from your social media prospecting or lead generation machines. And yes, automation does work when you do it properly. Now, you can see here, these are two that are actually live right now. So these are campaigns that are running. You can see I've loaded two different campaigns on LinkedIn here, 1,000 different prospects in this one, 2,714 on this one. One of them is adding people, so connecting with people on LinkedIn and sending them a first message. The other one is messaging existing connections. The reason why I'm telling you that is because response rates will vary depending on the temperature of the connection. So if you've just connected with someone, the likelihood of them responding is lower than if you've been connected with them for a while and they've had a chance to see your content, etc., etc. So as we come across here, I'm not going to dive into too much of the detail. I just want to share it with you. This campaign has sent 426 messages. This is promoting a webinar. So some of you will be running events watching this. I talk a lot about webinars on my channel. This one here is promoting a lead magnet. And you can see where loads of people say LinkedIn doesn't give you replies. Instagram, you don't get replies. I'm getting a 7% response rate and a 9.6% response rate. Now, could that be better? Of course. Is it better than nothing, though? Yes. And that isn't just on this campaign. This is on a number of the different campaigns that I've ran. And you can see the system that I use to be able to send them. It's the safest one that I believe is out there. I've never had any issues with Meet Alfred as an account or as something to use to automate. And if you want to support me, there is an affiliate link in the description of this video, this episode, that you can click on. And with it, it means that basically it just adds to like my free membership more than anything. So as this continues to load here, if you're watching the video, you can now see the data that is showing. So again, you can see all the different campaigns that I've ran. from 727 to 682. These are a variety of different campaigns. This is something that we teach very heavily inside of our membership. For those of you that don't know, we run a £50 a month membership that teaches all about this stuff. So if you're ever interested, there's no contract. You can come and join, see what it's about, learn and implement it, because this stuff you shouldn't have to pay thousands of pounds for. It is so simple. If you come and join us, you'll find out more about it. But to show you the data on my account, you can see this one is an invitation. So lots of different areas where I've built my network on LinkedIn. So I've sent 509 invites, got 205. So the conversion rates are 50%-ish, 40%-ish. You can see the variance. And with everyone that accepts that, they're then sent a message. And you can see the sheer number of replies from 23 to 189 to 71 to 101 to 251. The reply rate is seriously big. And what that enables you to do when you start to dive deeper into this is start moving people down your marketing and sales process. And if you subscribe to the show or if you hit the notification bell, you'll receive updates and notifications when I release more and more trainings and episodes like this for free on my YouTube channel or on Apple or Spotify. You'll receive the notifications with in-depth trainings around them, right? Because I love sharing this stuff with you. But the detail in here, whether it's building my email list, whether it's promoting my webinars, whether it's directly getting people onto my service, I do it every single day without fail. And you can see it works, right? The reason why I do it is because the results speak for themselves. And so if there is anybody out there that's putting you off from sending messages, this is kind of that first kick to say, don't be put off by it. They're just sending the wrong messages. And if you, in the comment section, put the word message, I will send you over one of those campaigns so you can see the exact message that I send to be able to generate them. So yeah, comment that down below, hit the like button, and I will send that over to you as a bit of a thank you for doing so. But the starting point of your direct messaging, and when you see that template, you'll see that this is what we do. The starting point is having something that people want. And so when you go out there, like the majority of people do, and they start trying to connect with people, and then they send them the message upon connection, and they're maybe asking for 30 minutes of their time, if they're asking how their day's going, if they're asking a question that they probably don't really care about the answer to, people sniff it out a mile away. People can smell the BS. They know that you're not really doing anything apart from being selfish. And so you have to switch your mindset with this, because if you were to meet this person in person, right, there is no way that you would go out there and start asking them for stuff. The way that you would engage in conversation is by giving value, by sharing insight, by showcasing what you know to try and help that person. You wouldn't ask for something. And so what you've got to figure out, depending on who it is that you're trying to target, who it is that you're trying to message, you've got to figure out what it is that they want. The moment that you do that, you can then create it. We typically use different assets to do this, whether it's videos, whether it's webinars, whether it's PDFs, guides, whatever. We're trying to figure out what it is that our ideal clients and prospects want. And the moment you find the thing that they want, your messages will get the responses that you're looking for. You've got to really understand the purpose of direct messaging here. It is not to make a sale, right? So many people treat direct messaging like an end-to-end sales solution. You are not trying to sell your service on LinkedIn or Instagram. You need to have the objective of grabbing their attention, giving them something that they want, and then moving them to a place where you have got control. So in any way that you possibly can, if you can get them onto a call, great. The reality is that it's quite difficult to do that unless you're really skilled in the way that we do things. Like there is a way to do it, but you've got to be skilled and you've got to be well practiced and you've got to understand how to navigate a conversation. But the real shortcut is by giving them something, because when you give them something, you can then ask for their email address or their phone number in return, and then you can begin the nurturing process. One of the things that I do advise, especially if you're a beginner, is to not try and get into in-depth conversations with these people, purely because people aren't on the platforms enough and they don't care about you enough yet to have these conversations. And so a lot of the time, that time could be better spent creating assets and creating different things which you can give away to showcase your value so they can do it in their time. Trying to have one-to-one conversations with 30 different people is extremely difficult, right? Even I struggle with it at times. It's not something that I really prioritize. As you've seen from my data, it's about volume. It's about understanding that if I want to do high ticket or if I want to sell one-to-one, it's about giving them something first and then moving them away from the platform to begin that one-to-one nurturing. The final thing that I've got to say is that with direct messaging, you can't just send a handful of messages and then say it doesn't work. I have been sending hundreds of messages every single week for the last 5 and a bit years. And so every week I'm learning something. Every week I'm testing something. Every week I'm tweaking the language. I'm looking at the data and then I'm amending as I go. This stuff isn't difficult to do, right? It is extremely simple. The only hard bit is figuring out what to say, what to give, and who to target, right? That's the kind of thinking that you have to do. But when you do that, you can then begin to start experimenting with different things. Remember, to win with direct messaging, the first objective is getting the attention. Once you've got the attention, i.e., your message opened, you can then generate the curiosity by the thing that you give away. That is the approach that you've got to take. And so, with all of the different data that you've just seen from my screen share just then, what I am doing simply is giving things away and starting conversations off the back of the assets that I've given. It is the simplest approach. And if you have any questions at all regarding direct messaging, just pop it in the comments below. I answer every single comment that comes through. If you want to keep supporting this channel, again, I know I've asked already, but please do hit that subscribe button. It really, really does help me. Hit the like button if you found this valuable. And also, if you do want that message structure, you do want that campaign, just put the word message in the comments and I'll send it over to you. Have an amazing day, evening, whenever you're watching this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.